Ciao, ClouD.
Hi.
Okay, we're here with ClouD, everyone's favorite Italian who lives in Germany. So we're here at Dreamhack Valencia.
Hard.
It's true that. We're here at Dreamhack Valencia. Have you ever played any StarCraft tournaments in Spain before?
Let me think. No, but this one is fine. So far it's going well. I was not expecting to win against Hero, but I won against the other two opponents. So far it's going as expected. I'm waiting for the next group stage.
Okay, so the way the group stages at these open tournaments tend to work is the first group stage you get maybe one other good player, and it tends to be two players who you're very likely to beat.
This is exactly how
Did you even know the other two players?
One of the two players is supposed to be good. He's a Korean guy living in Spain.
Oh, okay.
But I won 2-0 anyway. And the other guy is a 13 years old Swedish kid.
Oh, Najmaj or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He tries really hard.
Was he any good?
He's decent, but not really hard to play against.
Since he's a young kid, what do you think? What was he best at, and what was he weakest at?
I think he was kind of decent at everything, but didn't really know like anything. Especially like he didn't understand the game. It just seemed to like execute something he learned from someone else. So that was my feeling when I played him. So I just played something that he didn't see before, and he just couldn't handle it.
So obviously, like I said, usually you only get one other good player if you're a good player yourself. So everyone was looking really, it was going to come down to you or Hero who would win the group. How much have you played Hero in StarCraft 2? Have you played him before?
We practiced a bit when he was in Europe, and maybe I won a game over like 10.
Oh, okay. So he was dominating you?
Yeah, of course. He's one of the best Protoss in Korea, and I mean, winning against Hero would be very unexpected for like any Terran in the first place.
Sure.
So, I mean, not the top Korean Terrans, but like foreign Terrans. So he just strategically he knows what to do better, and he surprised me with some things that I was not expecting and that I haven't seen before. So he seemed like he knew what to do in a very aggressive way, which most Protoss players don't do. They like to play more defensive. So that threw me off a bit, but I still played well. He just played better than me.
At the beginning of this year, a lot of the Terran players were complaining that TVP was really, really hard once you got late game. Now all the Zergs are doing so well. How do you think the state of TVP and TVZ is at the moment?
The thing is, the game seems to be balanced at the very highest level, but what's not balanced is the difficulty of each race. And Terran is obviously the hardest, like in every aspect.
Why do you think? Like, give me an example.
Well, for example, every Terran unit needs micro. Every single unit, because there is no melee unit that you can just like move into the opponent.
You can't A-move them?
Yeah, you really can't. So, I mean, yeah, you can, but it's not really the best way to do it. And in TVP, you need a lot of micro, and you need to micro several different units at the same time. And while you do that, you need to watch for storms, and you need to watch for like Colossus position. You have to consider several things at once and perform them at the same time during an important moment of the game, which is the late game battle. And that's why before this was figured out, TVP was supposed to be the hardest matchup. But then Terran players kept playing, kept improving, and eventually they got to a point where they could fight back the Protoss late game, and now it's kind of even. In Europe, because in Korea now Protoss players are dominating anyway.
Yeah.
But now against Zerg, after the patch, it was like it was hell. Like every Terran was doing horribly. We still don't do as good against Zerg. And I don't know, Zerg seems to be very easy for Europeans to play, while it's not really the same for Koreans. So I don't really know what to think. Maybe in some months it would be fine, but right now it's pretty tough.
So if we had like a counter example, so a good example would be Lucifer at WCS Europe, got pretty high, and obviously MVP still did really well in GSL. Why do you think these Terran players are able to still thrive when, like for example, all the European Terrans in general seem to be doing quite bad at the moment?
Well, the thing is, Lucifer, I actually spoke with him like a few hours ago, He told me he has a lot of problem against Zerg as well. And as far as I remember, he lost to Zergs in WCS.
Yeah, it's true.
And yeah, and it looks, well, MVP is just better, and he's just an exceptional player. But Lucifer is very talented, and he plays a lot, and like he doesn't get emotional. These are like the three most important things.
Okay.
Like he's a smart guy and like does everything right. So of course he is doing well. But then also Torzen is one of these players, and he didn't go very far in the tournament.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't know. It looks like, of course, Terran can place high, but it's more unlikely at the moment in Europe. I think in a few months it could be a bit different, but right now it's like this.
If I asked you to give me, in your opinion, the 5 best Terrans in Europe, who would you pick? Who stands out?
Okay, right now I would say Cass is the best, then Lucifer, Torzen, Happy. Is the Muslim European?
Sure, he's from the UK.
No, the Muslim, I guess.
Okay. So last week we had WCS Europe. Did you compete in your national qualifier for that?
Yeah.
But you got upset?
Yeah, the thing is, I had a very bad period. I had 5 tournaments in the same month.
Okay.
And at the same time I was heartbroken because of a girl.
Okay, girl drama.
So I kept losing tournament after tournament because I played bad in the first one, and then I felt bad constantly. And 2 days before the WCS, I got 4th place in what's the German tournaments.
Berlin Open, maybe?
No. What's the German tournament? In the EPS. Okay.
EPS?
Yeah,
okay.
I got 4th place in the EPS. Well, I still played very well, but I had to play Bigs and then Dark Force, and they were all very close games, and I was really sad. And then I did the mistake to take for granted that I would win the WCS Italy. So the same night I drank, and I was with friends, like to kind of take it off my shoulders.
Let off some steam, sure.
And then I traveled to Italy, and the night I was supposed to sleep before the tournament, I couldn't sleep because people were noisy. So I went there completely destroyed, and I couldn't really perform at all. So yeah, it was my fault anyway. I had to take it more seriously. Now I sleep, I did everything right, but my mistake was taking for granted that I would win WCS Italy. And what I learned from like many tournaments is that once you stop being humble and once you start thinking it's granted that you win, then you will not win, because other players will try their best even if they're not as good as you. This will throw you off a lot.
So okay, the players who made it out of WCS Italy was Gil and Star Eagle.
Yeah.
Did you watch WCS?
Not really.
Okay.
I just watched some games, but
Did you see any of Star Eagle's games? Like he had a game against Grubby where people said he like had the game won and then he threw it away.
They told me just.
How good are those players? Basically, is what I want to know. Like Gil and Star Eagle, because obviously we never hear of anyone outside Italy except you, pretty much.
Gil is it's just a Grandmaster Protoss. Plays very risky and doesn't do any skill-intensive like build order. He doesn't use storms. He just moves his units.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's good, but.
What about Star Eagle?
Star Eagle is very talented. He was a great ruler player, but he's very emotional also when he plays. So at some point he starts doing random stuff. Like against Grubby, he had the game won. He had 100 supply more than Grubby, and Grubby had storms, and he had no ghost. So instead of making ghost and like building up his eco, he just took all his SCVs and all his army and just ran into the storms and lost the game. So yeah, like if he was a bit more rational and prepared, then it would be much better. But I know that he's working and that he has also like a private life. He's not a full-time pro gamer, so that's his choice. If he was a full-time pro gamer, then it would be really good, I think.
Whereabouts are you on the EU ladder? How high are you?
Right now, it just started.
What about last season?
In the last season, it was pretty tough. I started us around 150, and I lost against every single Zerg. And then I kept playing like a lot, and then climbed until it was like top 10, top 16.
Okay.
But that was my worst ladder season ever, like because of the Zerg patch. Yeah, but I feel pretty okay now, and I will keep practicing a lot. So I'm just going to get back on my level.
So what should we expect from you at this tournament? Like in your mind, when you think to the future, what kind of range do you think you'll be in at the end of this tournament if things go to plan?
It's so hard to say because it's only about who you get after the first group stage. I mean,
well, give me an example. Who would be a good pick for you, and who would be like a bad person to get?
If I get Teja and like Violet, then I don't expect to go through.
Sure.
But if I get like Jill, for example, I don't know, someone else, then it's possible. Okay. It's a lot about luck. But I think I'm very emotional, but I'm starting to not care. I just go there, don't think too much about the game, and just play it. And today I felt good. Today I played good. Like usually you have a lot of pressure against like a bit worse players because they're supposed to win, but then they could beat you. But today I just didn't feel anything. I just played my games and everything went well. So yeah, I think I can play well today. And if I don't get some crazy Koreans, then I could go into the top 16.
With this structure where you have group after group and then each group is round robin, so you have to play all 3 games. Obviously the one time there's a big problem with that sort of group is when you get 3 players who win 2 games and they lose 1, and sometimes it comes down to, you know, the guy who lost all his games, maybe he threw his last games and he didn't care anymore. This is the big problem that can sometimes happen. And I've seen in a few tournaments in the past, you were the guy who won the 2, but then you were the 3rd person who got knocked out.
Yeah.
So what do you think of this structure overall? Does it have problems? Like, why do you like it? What do you think?
Well, I got a bit unlucky in several tournaments. I mean, you beat Naniwa and then Stefano, and then you still get knocked out of Dreamhack. So that was pretty tough to accept. But on the other hand, I understand that it is the fastest way to make it fair for everyone. Because if you just make like a big playoff from the start, then it's too much about luck. While if you have group stage, then it's a bit more fair, and like time-wise, it works out. So yeah, these things happen. Like every format has some plus and some cons. I think this is the best format for this kind of tournament.
A lot of the StarCraft 2 fans now, their history on Brood War, especially non-Korean Brood War, isn't so good. So they probably don't know that a lot of players who are European pros now, I mean, for example, Goody, White Ra, these guys, Soke, these guys were playing in WCGs all the way back through history, even if they were much younger. You also played in a lot of WCGs. Yeah. Since you played for so long in the era of Brood War, where there wasn't much money to win and there wasn't really a lot of prestige if you weren't Korean, what motivates you in StarCraft 2? Like, what do you want to achieve in StarCraft 2?
Well, I think I'm a bit uncommon because I'm just doing this because I think it's a great life experience. I don't think staying in Italy and studying and doing a normal job can give me anything. That's not what I want. I just want to grow up as a person and know people, test myself, grow up, and just see like the world. So for me, this is like I wouldn't say it's a dream. It's more like I'm just trying to find who I am and how can I improve myself through this experience. And I think so far it's working out pretty well. I think I've grown up a lot in the last 2 years, and I'm really happy with it. Even though I disappointed myself a lot, like result-wise, because I know I can do better. But this was also part of my growing up, I guess. I needed to learn how to be humble and how to be more hardworking. And I think I'm learning from this.
If we think of like the national stereotype of Italian people versus German people, people would say Italians are very flamboyant, you know, they're very emotional. Then they would say Germans are like cold, hard, calculating, they're a bit boring maybe. So how do you find living in Germany? Does it fit you? Does it suit your personality?
I think people are, they all want the same things like in the world from what I've seen. Like, I don't see much difference between Chinese and Italian people, for example, on this. It's just a culture thing. Like the German people are very eager. Like they want to succeed at their job, and they care a lot about their reputation. which is like everything. It has the good and bad sides.
Sure.
While Italians are also this, but a bit less, and they are like more social in some ways and less social in other ways. So I would say it's a bit different, but it's not so different that I can't live there. I actually think it's interesting to live in Germany, and I made quite a few nice friends there. So.
One of your other teammates who's at this event, Zocca, it seems like he seems like a stable player. I mean, he often can upset someone in the tournament, but he never gets the top placing. What do you expect from him this tournament? How far can he go, do you think?
I think Zocca is doing pretty bad lately because he is known to be a lazy player. He doesn't practice too much, but he practices enough to do decently in like every tournament, and sometimes he wins. He got many good results in the past, but now I think he will start practicing more because Protoss got a bit harder to play, like in the last months. So, like all the Protoss players who just played a bit but not too much and did good results need to step up their practice hours and just play more.
Okay, another thing I wanted to ask was, there's a couple of Korean guys who now live in Germany, Daisy, Real, and even though they're not really like so famous for Koreans, they're Korean guys and we see them in Europe. Like, have you played them much? What do you think of their level?
I'm a good friend with Real. We played like, I think 150, 200 games.
Oh, okay.
We're very close friends and we practice a lot together. And I helped him practice for tournaments. Sometimes he did really well. So I think he's a good player. He could. I don't think he could be more rational about his play. I think maybe play a bit less and analyze a bit more. But he knows it and he's improving. So I think he's a good player. And Daisy, I don't really know. Like from what I've seen of him, he seems good as well. But I don't know him so much that I can give an opinion.
So, in your opinion, who at the moment is the best player living in Germany? Who's the best one? Is there anyone stands out?
No.
Including Germans?
I don't think so.
No? That seems to be a problem I've noticed, because if you look at the EPS scores or you look at any of the tournaments in Germany, it seems like everyone's around a similar level, and so the results can be very variable. Do you think this is true? Why do you think it is?
I think not everyone is around the same level. I think few players are at the same level, and then there's other few players who can beat the better players.
Okay.
And since StarCraft 2 is not just about skills, like unless you're really much better than your opponents, then you're not granted to win.
Sure.
So it's a lot about condition, like a bit about luck in the game, not too much. But like daily condition matters a lot. So maybe in some days a player could win like everything. Some days he could get like the 8th place in the tournament. And this doesn't just apply to EPS, but I think the best players are like me, Azu, and Zocca, and Dark Force. And then like there's Goody, who's like weird because
weird playing style.
Just, well, if he's against me, he can win like very easily because I can't seem to win against him too much. But against like Zerg, he's like terrible at the moment. Against Protoss, he seems to do decently. I don't know. It's just very random. So like there's these players, then Goody, then the others. But the others, like bottom players, can still beat the top players. And like the winner of the last EPS season is an unknown guy who plays Zerg. So
sure,
it's a coincidence. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not. It's a close tournament.
Aside from you, obviously, who are the 3 players who you'd pick out of this field who have the best chance to win this tournament?
I don't think I can win this tournament.
I was sort of joking, but
okay, I know.
It's a polite way to ask you the 3 players, sure.
I just want to make sure.
Okay.
Okay, I think Teja, Hero, what are the other Koreans? I think Violet.
So not Stefano?
Maybe he could win against Hero. I don't think he's better than Teja.
Ah, okay. Because you know, since he won WCS, all the European fans are going to think, oh, he's going to win, he's going to beat the Koreans.
No, you're actually right. Stefano might have a shot. I think if he gets to play Teja, he won't get first place.
Ah, okay, so Teja can beat him?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about Violet and Hero. I think it's not really granted. Like nothing is granted, so it's hard to. Yeah, but there's Stefano and these three guys, I guess. 4GG also, but.
Is there another European you can pick who you think has a good chance?
No.
No one?
No.
They're definitely not going to win because of those players?
No.
Ah, okay.
No, Nerchu is not here, right?
No.
Okay. No, then I don't think so.
Ah, okay. Right. Any final words? Anyone you want to thank, say hello to?
Oh yeah. First of all, I would like to thank my friends, especially Naniwa for helping me so much in the last months.
Ah, okay.
And Take for always being a cool manager and always supporting me. Even when I lose, he will always be by my side, which I really appreciate. And of course, all my fans and yeah, everyone cheering for me. But yeah, I'm actually trying to not care too much about other people. And I'm just trying to focus on myself. So yeah, I'll just try to be the best player I possibly can in the future, and I'm working hard towards that. So that's pretty much it.
Grazie. Ciao.
Bye.